Hello, solar people, and welcome back to the channel. On week 15, I don't know if it matters anymore because it's been so long, but we are continuing with the 100-day march where I am trying to make a 24-page comic in the span of 100 days. I'm not way past it, but we are overdue. All right, so here we have the schedule where we are now in the bonus rounds. We are quickly wrapping this up. This is Monday 16, the 17th this thing will be out, and I only have a few weeks left. So we're going to be doing some more in-between stuff. Last week we did cleanup, how I clean up my pages, remove the blue lines from comic pages, and my format set up for Clip Studio Paint. So we're going to do some color tests. So let's get to it. A lot of work to do. So we have our characters. Beautiful Beast Kiss and DC the Demon Cat. I took it from a pencil sketch, and I usually draw on top in different blue or red pencil to tighten up the lines. If I can, fade it back in Photoshop to maybe 40%, print that out, draw on top. It's how I clean things up. And I have the roll call for Beautiful Beast Kiss Chapter 3. We have Beautiful Beast Kiss, Bunny, Birdie, and DC the Demon Cat. Let's do some colors. Alright, so when we talk about color, I do color either in Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint. Since I'm going to be doing most of the colors in Clip Studio Paint, I want to do some tests just to see if I am on the right path. Right? I usually, for Beautiful Beast Kiss, each dimension she goes to, it's a different art style. She changes her form, and so I like to keep that consistent with doing everything else differently. Like the backgrounds, I would do differently, and all of that. I think it just adds a little bit of artistic flair and keeps it interesting for myself. So for this, I would like a more pastel. Let's look at what we've got in colors, shall we? And let's see, gouache. I think gouache is going to be the style for this one. But there's watercolor, and I use this fairly often. Thick paint. So there's oil paints or simulations of oil paint and whatnot. And Indian ink. If you wanted to ink this stuff in computer, it's very well within the means, but I like to do things traditionally. So back to gouache. Now for the backgrounds, I'm thinking dry gouache to make it just a little bit different from the characters, which I'll do dry gouache and then gouache on top and various other things to get hopefully the look that I want. So first off, I have my inks here, and what I do is file. Is it file? No. It's edit, convert brightness to opacity. Convert brightness to opacity. So again, edit, convert brightness to opacity, and it takes a little moment, and there you go. The white is removed, the ink lines stay, and then I create layers underneath. So say of 3. Put this layer on top, my ink layer on top, and now I have layers underneath that I can 1, 2, and 3, and that's how I'll paint the characters. I usually do a broad underpainting, usually for the body color, and then after that, then I go into different things like the dress, tank top, hair, and stripes. All right, so now, but let's bring in, so I did this before where I have a color swatches for the character, Beautiful Beast Kiss. So I'm on that layer, edit, copy. So now I have color swatches for Beautiful Beast Kiss. And having a color swatch is always nice because it breaks down the color schemes that I have. So for the green of her clothing, I have her body color, different variations of orange, stripe colors, other bits like her underclothes and whatnot. So it's in a nice, easy where I can just get the eyedropper tool. And I'm relatively new to digital painting. So I do things the way I do things, which is probably not the most efficient. I really need to get better at that, but it'll come. Okay, so let's try this one with more of an orange base. All right, so I have lassoed the whole thing, and now I can just, B, increase the size. And so I do a base coat, and then I do various parts. And now let's do some hair. Her hair is a darker, brighter red. Now I can lasso each individual section and do it that way after I have the base done, but I'm just messing around. I'm not too concerned. Let's see what else. The green of her tank top is like a mid green, or is it a light green? Let's go this between them. That one. B for the brush tool. And that's a rough approximation of my coloring process. And then I can Command D to deselect, and then touch up some things, clean up some things, but we got it. See the same here. Okay, so here we have DC, the demon cat, as a key image. Edit, convert brightness to opacity. Again, edit, convert brightness to opacity. And now it gets rid of the white. Some color tests. So he's going to be in the purple range. So let's say, and these are just test colors. I usually make a master with the colors that I really want, but I usually have enough colors just to mess with and try out and whatnot. Okay, so now I have it all lassoed. I usually do a flesh tone first. His wings. He's got these little bat wings. So then I bounce around the whole image, picking colors from the color dots and then just applying them to the character. And I can make color dots all day. So I try to be strategic about the midtones, darks and lights, or highlights and shadows and whatnot. But for this comic, I'm just doing mostly just the clean base colors because there's a lot to do. I don't quite have the time. And that's just moving all over, keeping things pretty neat so that I try to remember where I got the dots, and then I make a master from all the color choices because I do various variations. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes I go overboard and it gets too chaotic and I want to trim it down or get the colors down to a more manageable color scheme. So for Birdie, I went all over, and yeah, I need more experiments. But for DC, I've already have his ideas, and so I'm just filling in those ideas. Might play with it, but I pretty much have him down. All right, so let's wrap this up with going over what we did, an overview, if you will. So we did color test today, and color test is to get an idea of what the color scheme will be for the characters and whatever method you're going to use for the comic. Because the characters are seen so often on every page, sometimes it's easier than others to have a color scheme going. Like I already knew what Beautiful Beast Kiss, her color scheme was, and I have these color dots that makes up her whole costuming, her whole kit. Some are easier, like Bunny, I had an idea what I wanted for her. And DC I've done before, so I kind of knew his color scheme. Birdie is the problem. Birdie is the problem. But for DC, right, I have a more, his skin is more purpley. This one's a little bit darker, a midnight black, well, a midnight color. And I think I might go for this one more. So that's his pretty much locked down. But Birdie, I have been trying different things to get her colors in line, but when you have a new character and you're not quite sure what the color scheme is, I go in all directions. In watercolor, I'm more focused on decision making, but in digital, when I see all these colors, I go, ooh, let's try this. Oh, let's try this. And so I kind of lose focus. So I think I want something in between these two, I think. But I'll do some more experiments next week. So now let's look at the schedule and then wrap this thing up. So that was week 15 of the 100-day march. Time is running out. But I knew this would happen. So today we did colors, and we can use now the color characters to go throughout the comic book and add the color schemes in. It's not going to be too in-depth or involved in color-wise, since I'm just one person doing all of it. But I like to block it in and get it at least a little bit presentable. Next week, I believe, next week's week 16, and we'll go over text and little doodads and whatnots for putting it all together in Clip Studio Paint. So thank you for joining me. I have been Trey. You can find my work at treyhodges.com. Power to all the creators, and I will see you on next week's episode. Take care, keep shining.